Oh, okay, everybody. And we are live, and we're wanting to thank you for joining the Four Horsemen. This is another convening of the War Council to put on another live podcast, another rock and roll live podcast. So thank you all so much for joining us. Appreciate everybody in the chat. I got a couple of like special announcements. Hey, I see Daddy Boggs. It's great to see you, Daddy Boggs, Jersey Devil. Okay, Michael Nolan, good to see you, brother. Okay, so a couple of comments I need to start off with here. Okay, what we had last week is we had trolls visit us on the channel. Okay, and the trolls came out and they made some very ugly and inappropriate comments, and I feel responsible because I don't remember the last time I talked about what a moderator is. I mean, as I look over at the chat, Jersey Devil's got a wrench behind his name. Chris Elliott has a wrench behind his name. Dr. Rick, Daddy Boggs, Michael Nolan, almost everybody. I would say 85% of the people in my chat, Dan McNew, Dr. Insomnia. I'm just scrolling here. I've only found one person that doesn't have a wrench behind their name, Chris Elliott. I am one of us. Everybody but one person out of all the people I just looked at have a wrench. Okay, so let me explain this in case I haven't done a very good job in the past. If you have a wrench behind your name, you are a moderator. And if you are a moderator, what that means is there are responsibilities that come with that. Okay, one of your prime jobs as a moderator is to keep clean content. Okay, every moderator is to remove any inappropriate or potentially abusive or offensive content. And we had the most despicable comments I've ever heard, by trolls last week on my channel. Somebody said you've got trolls. I went down looking for them. I get pages behind on the chat because you can't run the channel and keep up with the chat all the time. And I always get behind, and so does everybody else. It's almost impossible not to. But we get a lot of people on our show, and the chat goes by quickly. And somebody that might want to troll can go by quickly and get out of sight and then start trolling and making ugly comments. We had that really bad last time. So I rushed to the bottom of the comments. I couldn't find any troll comments. I went back up slowly, couldn't find anyone. About halfway up, it started coming down slowly. So to give you an idea how long it took for me to find the trolls and to actually ban them from the show. Because here's what you can do. You moderators with the wrench, which is like probably 85% of everybody on my channel, you have the power to hide, to block, to time out, and just throw the user off the channel. Throw them off. The longer, the better. If you can ban them, I know I can ban them. I'm not sure every basic moderator can ban them, but you can throw them off. You can time them out. You can hide them. You can block them, block their comments. And I'm just asking you guys, okay, because I'll never be the first person to see it. So please, if you see any off-color comments,
So good, dude.
anybody being insulted or anything else, immediately, you go over to the right hand side of the name. Either these are three dots or just click in the clear area and a menu will pop up and it'll give you options what you can do. Just for an example, I'll go over here and I'm just now going to Michael Nolan, the bottom line. What are my options? I can delete the comment, I can put the user on timeout, or I can ban the user and delete their comments. So whatever your options are, take the most severe one because we don't want to put up with trolls ever on this show. Okay, so what we're going to be doing tonight is we're going to be talking about one of my favorite bands of all time, and that is the Rolling Stones. And I've been listening to them since the British invasion and enjoying them since the British invasion. Okay, we're gonna add one more. We're gonna go with the three of us tonight, unless Michael decides he wants to
Hello,
join
everybody.
us. How you doing, Chris?
Hey, Chris.
I'm doing very well. Yourself?
Good. Okay, so first
And
of all, I want to introduce Dan, Just the Facts Man. I encourage everybody to go, subscribe to Dan's channel. Dan's getting ready to leave to Birmingham, England, where Ozzy Osbourne, Black Sabbath, that whole big concert back to the beginning took place. He's going back there because of that, and I'm sure we're going to get some great stuff when he gets back. So, Dan, when are you leaving anyway?
I'm not leaving till December 16th. So,
Okay, so
uh,
it's a little while ways out.
yeah, so
Yeah, if you,
hopefully the video will come out sometime after the first of the year.
yeah. Well, I just want to ask you if you can find a cool souvenir to buy me, I will reimburse you when you get back. And you know, I'm not talking hundreds of dollars, but I mean, you know, up to up to 25, $35, I'd be happy to, you know, if you find something cool. If not, don't ruin your trip trying to find me something. I'm sure you won't.
Well, I just discovered this past week that they've got a museum over there with the Aussie exhibition,
Oh my
uh,
God.
and
Okay.
it's supposed to close sometime in September, but it's because of the demand they're going to leave it open until I think January 18th. So
Okay, so you'll be able
I'll
to
be able
get
to
in
visit. Yeah.
there. There'll be a lot of souvenirs for selling there. That's awesome, Dan. Everybody go check out Just the Facts Man. He's got a very varied channel. He covers a lot of different things. I do the same thing. This live podcast, all you're going to hear about is rock and roll, and usually on most of my pre-recorded as well. But I have covered other things in the past. Anyway, we won't dwell on that. But Dan's got a very diversified channel, all kinds of stuff, heavy on rock and roll, interviews, concerts, you name it. And then we have Chris Elliott. How you doing, Chris?
I'm doing very well, thank you.
Good, good. It's good to see you, man. Um, anything new with you right now?
No, coming off a high. Took my dad out for a trip yesterday, and we had some great time riding off that high and still doing okay.
Okay, great.
And we get to talk about the Stones, so that's always good.
Right, right. Okay, so my wrenched up moderators out there, do not turn a blind eye if you see somebody insulting somebody. It was really ugly last week. I won't even repeat what was said about you know, one of the women on the panel, not on the panel, but in the chat, that's been a friend of mine for 6 years, you know, and I was just livid when I saw it. And it was surprising, as long as it took me to find this person, that he was still there. He hadn't been thrown off. So I kicked him off and banned him, and then scrolled down a little ways, found another one of his comments. Maybe somebody had, you know, tried to kick him off or time him out and it didn't work or something. So I bound him a second time, then found somebody else making a comment, all within a period of like a minute. I threw 3 people off the show. So help us out here, folks. Anybody comes across somebody doing this kind of stuff, please ban them. Please kick them off the show. Depending on what your level of moderation is, you're wrenched up. You do have the power to do something. You can, at the very least, kick them and their comment off the show. You know what? And leave the rest to us. So really appreciate it. Thank you all so much. So what we're going to get into now, guys, we're going to be talking about, you know, the Rolling Stones. And I don't know how many people heard this or knew this, but, you know, back when Rolling Stones were Rolling Bones, I realized after I put that name up that I found it with some of my friends on an older show. A new album. They have a new album nearing completion, and they're discussing a new concert. Okay, so the Rolling Stones are reportedly um, recording a new album with 13 tracks completed at the Metropolis Studios. A tour may follow. We don't know that for sure. Now, I don't know how many people knew this. When they did their last album, 2023, Hackney Diamonds, they had really enough songs to do a second album already. So I know they're changing some things, adding some things, maybe tweaking some things, and they're putting it all together. But, you know, they had canceled their highly anticipated 2025 UK and European tour, okay, due to scheduling issues. Really disappointing fans, okay? Fans were actually devastated after the Rolling Stones were forced to cancel, okay, a huge 2025 UK European tour. Stones guitar player Ronnie Wood, meanwhile, reunited with Rod Stewart at the Glastonbury Festival in 2025 for a Faces comeback, a reunion of the band The Faces. And there has been talk of them doing a tour in 2026. So I thought that was kind of an interesting aside there. So anyway, after Keith Richards' son, Marlon, let slip that the Rolling Stones are working on what he believes to be a follow-up to 2023's Hackney Diamonds, that album producer Andrew Watt confirmed he's been back in the studio with the band. The Rolling Stones are nearly done with a new album. Yeah, they don't mess around. They're right into it. Okay, so nearly done with a new album. Now keep in mind the last two albums they issued. The most recent, of course, was Hackney Diamonds. That was released in 2023, and then before that, 2016. 2016, the band, the Hackney Diamonds is the first new material in 18 years, because the one that was in 2016 that was just blues covers. All it was Blue and Lonesome was the name of it in 2016. All blues covers. Okay, so Hackney Diamond was the first album of original material in 18 years, while Blue and Lonesome was merely a collection of blues covers. Yes, the Rolling Stones won a Grammy for Hackney Diamonds and recorded extra material that I had already mentioned during those sessions, reportedly enough for another album. So before we go any further, let's get the panel involved. Dan, I know you're a Rolling Stones fan. You got it all over behind you on your green screen. Yeah, I love all that. Nothing more. Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I've seen him in concert 3 times. And the second time I saw him, I actually had front row center in the Cotton Bowl. So that was one of the better concerts.
Oh, yeah.
I was so close I could actually hear Mick Jagger without the microphone. So
no kidding. Well, that's awesome. I've seen him twice. 1972, the year I moved to Long Beach, California with some of my friends. They played at the Long Beach Arena downtown. Incidentally, and so me and all my friends, I got tickets for some of them that were coming from Vegas and Henderson to spend the night with us and watch the concert. So anyway, we all went to the concert together, including my future wife, Betty. We got married a year later. Okay, so we saw them at the Long Beach Arena. Then we saw them in Portland, Oregon. If I'm not mistaken, that was 1997. And it was kind of the Babylon. I'm trying to remember the name of it.
Bridges to Babylon.
Bridges to Babylon. That's the album they were touring, Bridges to Babylon. Whereas in Long Beach, 20 years earlier, they were touring Exile on Main Street. And I've got that album. I don't have Bridges to Babylon, and I really regret that I don't have that. There's nothing like getting an album for shows that you've been to, big concerts you've been to. Anyway, I enjoyed both shows. Pretty amazing in Long Beach. The let's see, not Michael. Hold on just a second. Stevie Wonder opened for the Stones in Long Beach. And the sad part for me was that Stevie Wonder, everybody was so amped up about the Rolling Stones that Stevie Wonder during his set wasn't getting a lot of respect, to be honest with you. The crowd was still loud. People were up milling around. They weren't really getting serious about getting into him. So that kind of bummed me out, because I've always been a big Stevie Wonder fan. So most of the time when I talk about the Stones, I bring that up and maybe even show a couple of Stevie Wonder albums. And just my little way of trying to give a little tribute to such an amazing, amazing artist. Okay. The guy is just amazing. So anyway, Michael Nolan, all tribal marshals and deputies of the Four Horsemen. Go get them. That's right. Yeah, I feel really bad about what happened last week, because, ultimately, I'm responsible. It's my show. And if somebody's being insulted and I can't find the person doing it, then all that means is I haven't done a good job explaining the role of the moderator. How do people know what to do if it's not explained to them? I know a lot of them know what to do, but there's got to be some that didn't, or that would have never taken place last week. So anyway, Chris, Rolling Stones fan?
Yes, a little bit.
Okay, good.
I got to see them a couple of weeks ago. We were talking about them. I got to see them in Toronto at the SARS Fest with
good.
5,000 people. So,
well, Betty and I had bought tickets for our third concert. Another 20 years had gone by. They were playing in San Diego. COVID hit. We bought the tickets to the show. We we were going to fly down there, even though it's probably a 6 or 7 hour drive. We were going to fly down there. We booked a motel room. We had everything set. And Ticketmaster informed us that the show is postponed. I go, okay, send my postponed money back. And they go, no, you don't understand. It hasn't been canceled. If it was canceled, we'd send your money back, but it's just been postponed. I go, oh, really? Well, what do you guys think is going to happen then? Well, as soon as we don't know what's going to happen just yet. We've got the whole COVID thing, which is why the show is postponed. So, we're just going to keep monitoring the situation. So months and months went by. I called back. I just want a refund. No, you can't have a refund. It was postponed, not canceled. It's a whole rigmarole again. A couple of months go by. I call them again, and they told me the same thing. And I was really getting pissed off, let me tell you. And so finally, they called me. I called them. Okay, no, I called them again. Let me get the story straight. I called them again. I said, hey, listen, I've been waiting a long time. I just want you to refund my money. They go, oh, didn't you get our email? I go, what are you talking about? Oh, we had a little window of time where you could have got a refund, but it's past now. And I just lost it. I went off on them. My wife went off on them. My wife had the biggest impact. The money was redeposited into our account the very next day, So anyway, that's that. But boy, did I lose a lot of respect for Ticketmaster. Not to mention the next couple of concerts I went to. I bought them through Ticketmaster, and lo and behold, I didn't get the price that was quoted. They were selling me something that was being resold, like somebody bought them to flip them,
Oh, yeah.
and I was paying more. So anyway, that whole thing is just a total shit show as far as I'm concerned. I hate dealing with those people. Okay, so let's, what I'm going to do is I had a poll yesterday, okay? And in that poll, I listed, top popular albums by the Rolling Stones and had people vote on them. So I don't want to show all my Rolling Stones albums tonight. It wasn't that long ago I did that. But I want to show the ones and how they ranked in that poll, and a couple of others that I just feel like I have to show, okay, that have given me a lot of pleasure down through the years. So anyway, we'll scroll down for just a second. So far, no trolls. Okay, let's get back to the show now, guys. Get back to the narrative here. Okay, so Hackney Diamonds did win a Grammy Award, okay, for Best Rock Album at the 2025 Grammys. Folks, that was just this year, and then they had to cancel their 2025 tour, which made a lot of people unhappy, okay? So what about all this extra material we keep hearing about? The band was very productive while recording Hackney Diamonds, laying down between 23 and 25 songs, okay, in total. Since the final album only included 12 tracks, this meant there was a significant amount of leftover material. I'm not saying inferior, but you know how it is. Some albums, somebody's deciding what works together the best to make kind of a cohesive album. And then there are other times no one gives a shit, but that's what happens often when you've got, an overabundance of tracks that were recorded. Okay. Yeah, so, all right. So go ahead.
So it doesn't necessarily, like you're pointing out, that it means that there's bad tracks. Maybe it just doesn't fit with the running order that the band's looking for that album, right?
Well, 100%.
The best example I can think of is Houses of the Holy from Led Zeppelin.
Yeah.
I don't think that would have fit on the actual album the way it was set up. So saving it for the next album is good.
And you're not the first person I've heard say that either, Chris. Okay, so with all this leftover material, Mick Jagger and producer Andrew Watt confirmed that the band has enough recorded material for a follow-up record. Okay, in interviews, Jagger estimated the next album to be about 75% finished at that time. Okay, the band also reportedly has additional material. This is what I loved, and I had to look this up today because it was important to me. Hackney Diamond, the last album they put out, 2023, had almost every song had a guest artist on it. Okay, so what was important to me was that the leftover songs that they didn't use also had guest artists, and I've been told, yes, the songs that they have left have guest artists, including Paul McCartney, who played on Hackney Diamond, played bass on one of the Hackney Diamonds songs. So that was really exciting, and that was a modified bass that was distortion, and Paul had a ball playing that damn thing. Okay, so anyway, so the Rolling Stones recording process. Marlon, his son, offered a new process notes as well. They're in Cheswick or somewhere like that. I think they're nearly done. He added a snapshot of how hard the musicians have been working as well, saying they still maintain these ridiculous hours from after lunch till 2 o'clock in the morning. They're working in the studios. I think that's some pretty good dedication right there. Okay. So, yeah, so we talked about how Hackney Diamonds was the first recording of new material in 18 years. Okay. The project, the last project, Hackney Diamonds, featured, for example, I'm talking about the guest artist now. Drummer Charlie Watts was on some tracks that were recorded before he died in 2021. It also included A-list cast of guests, including Lady Gaga, Elton John, Paul McCartney, Stevie Wonder, and if I'm not mistaken, Steven Tyler played harmonica on one of the songs. That's when his throat was probably at its worst, but he came out there and played harp, okay, and some others. So touring plans may be next. They could be back on the docket for the band as well, okay. I think they're planning a tour of Europe, Marlon suggested. The Rolling Stones were previously due to hit the road in 25, but those dates just never materialized, So anyway, let's just get back and just have a nice discussion now with everybody. So I think the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to show the last studio albums the Rolling Stones. I'll make myself bigger for this. The last studio albums the Rolling Stones put out. This is Hackney Diamonds. I probably did somewhere in the neighborhood of 4 podcasts on this. And you know what? It was popular and they all did well. And so here it is, Hackney Diamonds. We've got, the gatefold here, Rolling Stones. Okay. And as far as the track list, okay, we have Angry. That was a single that was out. It was a great song. Get Close, Depending on You, Bite My Head Off. If I'm not mistaken, Bite My Head Off is a song Paul McCartney played bass on. That's not all of that's listed here on this on the back here, So anyway, Whole Wide World, Dream Skies, Mess It Up, Live by the Sword, and of course Die by the Sword if you live by the sword. Tell Me Straight, Sweet Sounds of Heaven, Rolling Stone Blues. And this was truly, truly a great album. And it did, like I said, it did win a Grammy. It won a Grammy Award. And here it is, Hackney Diamonds. I was looking for the credits for the featured artist. They're probably on something in here. But I guess I'm not going to wind up pulling that out right now, unless it's here. Okay. No, that's just a sleeve. Okay. That's just a sleeve. All right. So, folks, that is Hackney Diamonds, the last album, and that's the album that they put all this other stuff together on that's going to be coming up. Okay. So, anyway, anybody got anything they want to say? I want to welcome Jersey Devil, Brother Jersey Devil, Chris Elliott, who's on the panel, Dr. Rick, my dear old friend, I don't mean old, but a long time, Daddy Boggs, Michael Nolan, Dan the Man, good to see you here, brother. Absolutely, guys. Dan the Man is here. Brian Bingham, how you doing, man? Oberheim, Winslow Red Cross. Skip down. James Watson's here. Hey, brother James, how are you, man? It looks like we have a lot of people in the chat. I think I've covered Winslow Red Cross is here. I think I've covered Angela. Hi, Angela. How are you? I haven't seen you in a little while. Well, a couple of weeks ago. But anyway, thanks so much for being here. Appreciate it. Hey, everyone. Say hi. Hey, everyone say hi to Angela, okay? Angela, the moderators did a great job last week with the trolls. Okay. I missed some of it. Just wanted to remind everybody what the role of a moderator is, to protect the crew here, protect the warriors. And we do pretty good protecting. Hey, look at this. We have Breakfast Kings of Loyola. Great to see you, brother. Chris Barlow. Let's see. Piccolina the cat. Piccolina, how are you? Jersey Devil, the Four Horsemen. Those comments were deleted from chat. You could still see them and had removed comments scrolling on the feed. Moderators did good last week. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, because I appreciate hearing that. I appreciate hearing that. Chris Elliott, Piccolina the cat, Dr. Rick. Okay, folks. So we're gonna go on now. Okay, so Hackney Diamonds, as I said, was their last studio album, last album of new material. So where do you guys rank, Dan and Chris, where would you guys rank Hackney Diamonds? Is it in the upper 25%, somewhere in the middle, or below 50% as far as a good Stones album?
I would put it about 50%, mainly because, some of this, I like some of the stuff on the album, but not everything. But to me, it's encouraging because their age. I mean, they're still putting out good music, even at that age.
Well, that's exactly right. I couldn't agree more with that, Dan. Hold on, folks. I just popped the cover off my ring light, trying to adjust it. Well,
I think my feeling is almost identical to yours, Dan. It's there's some good stuff on there, and the fact that they're still making new music, I mean, hey, you got to give it to them for that.
Yeah, I figure as long as they've got the energy to do it, let's keep doing it,
Sure.
And of course,
yeah,
there's people say there's 3 original members left. Really, there's only 2 original members left, because
that's right.
Ronnie Wood is the new guy. He's only been with them for 50 years.
50 years.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I mean, everybody has their own opinion on what is the real band. Foreigner goes out there as Foreigner. There's not one single original member in it. To me, that's not Foreigner, okay? But I know a lot of our friends, Dan, and you know them too. They were on the show before. Their attitude about, say, let's just use Kiss as an example. As long as Gene and Paul were there, it was Kiss. Yeah. Everybody else could rotate in and out as far as they were concerned. And I guess to a large degree, as long as Keith and Mick are there, you know what I mean? Because I mean, there's been a lot of people come and go over the years, and some.
And I think I even think if something happened to Keith and he's no longer with the band, I think the Rolling Stones would still go on, even with just Mick. But I think if something happened to Mick, it would be over with.
Oh yeah. No, he's irreplaceable.
Mick.
Yeah. No, he's absolutely irreplaceable. Yeah. Well, there's always young blood. I'm kidding.
Well, no. Well, no. The good thing too is with the Rolling Stones, I mentioned their age. But the thing is, they got a lot of good backup musicians too. So when you go to see a Rolling Stones show, it's going to sound like the Rolling Stones every time.
No, I know. That's right.
It's not going to. Their music is not going to change. It's because they're getting older. Because, well, even their backup band is kind of getting old too. The youngest one is 62.
Right.
So.
No, but that's right.
And the newest addition, he wasn't even added to the Rolling Stones till he replaced, the drummer. So.
Right. Well, okay. I want to say hi to Storm Cop 55, James. Really good to see you here, brother. Thanks so much. And once again, we got Breakfast Kings of Loyola below him. He says they seemed old when they were touring on Voodoo Lounge. Little did I know they'd still be cranking stuff out 30 years later. That's just absolutely fantastic.
That's right. I saw it for the first time in 1981, and I thought they were kind of old then. But in reality, Mick Jagger was only 38 years old back then.
Right. Isn't that amazing?
It's all in your perspective,
All in your perspective. That's exactly right. So anyway, we got just a great bunch in the chat tonight, and I appreciate that they did a good job. The moderators did a good job last time. I must have ran into some stuff that it basically was being timed out already, Anyway, I appreciate all the moderators, and thanks. There was just some of the comments were just so insidious, it was just it really kind of just blew my mind really to see that. I mean, who are these people, man? Well, we kind of know who some of them are, but there's also a lot of imposters, even pretending to be trolls that we know. There's a group of them that take each other's names and do other things like that.
I think the one guy, he used like 4 different names with
Yeah.
like one slight change in the wording. So he got
Yeah.
timed out like 3 or 4 different times, but he kept coming back with a
Well, see
different,
that
just a slightly different name.
something tweaked. The
Yeah.
same thing was happening on Michael Nolan's channel sometime back. Somebody was coming on with his name on some
Yeah, I
shows,
remember that.
Yeah.
and I think it had to do with whether it was a colon or between the name and the bottom line. But I mean, it was just that subtle, and everything else looked perfect. And I've even seen the waxed on some shows where somebody was trolling him and using his name. And like I said, the logo, the verbiage, the style of it, it all looks perfect. You'll just see there'll be like one little thing that you never even looked at before. You don't even know to look at it now. So anyway, they're the ones that are really enjoying doing this are really good at it, and you almost never know 100% who you're really kicking off. Ron J, how are you, brother? Storm Cop, man, we got so many wonderful people here tonight. So anyway, I think what I'm going to do, I held a poll this week, as I mentioned already.
Hey, Royce, before you start that, just
Okay.
like Novice Nick's in the chat if he wants to come up.
Okay, I'll deal with that.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off and made the right. Sorry.
No, that's all right. It's just that, yeah, we don't always have to have 4. We don't always have to have even 3. Sometimes.
True enough.
Yeah. So I mean, it's really going to be kind of a fast show tonight. So I'd rather be left on my own to make those decisions. Anyway, our 45 RPM is here. Knucklehead Rock, good to see you, brother. Anyway, all right, so let's go on. Anyway, no offense, Chris.
Right here.
Yeah. So anyway, this album in my poll was the highest. Got the highest amount. It got probably 50% of the votes was Sticky Fingers. And what a magnificent album this is. God, I thought I'd grab the one with the real zipper, but I didn't. But it doesn't matter. This is a nice remastered version. But I mean, the songs on this are it's just incredible. I mean, this is a masterpiece, Rolling Stones masterpiece. There's no other way to put it. And yeah, you got the Andy Warhol art. Thank you, Andy. We appreciate your artwork. And God, people like him out there, And then we've got. I'll go ahead and pull this. And I just want to read the song list real quick on this because this is just a great album. Okay, it's got Brown Sugar. Okay, I recently did a members only video about offensive language, and Brown Sugar was technically an offensive song, but I think a lot of us just see past that. You know what I'm saying? Because it's actually a great song. Maybe there's some lyrical content that's a little discriminatory or whatever, but okay. So Brown Sugar, Sway, Wild Horses, a favorite of mine. I think everybody likes Wild Horses. Can't You Hear Me Knocking? You Gotta Move, okay. Then on the other side, we have, let's see, Bitch. I got the Blues. That's a great song. Sister Morphine, another just great song. How do they come up with these things? They're just excellent. Moonlight Mile, same thing. This is just a masterpiece right here, Sticky Fingers. And it's not like the Stones don't have others, but this is really an excellent album. Okay, so Sticky Fingers was on top. Okay, and then we had actually number two on the poll was Let It Bleed. And this is the 50-year anniversary, as you can see there. And great songs. Let It Bleed, Love in Vain, Midnight Rambler. I love that song. Gimme Shelter. You've got this. You've got the silver. You can't always get what you want. What an iconic song that is. Live With Me, Monkey Man, and Country Honk. Let It Bleed. Okay, then we had a couple that I'm going to say were tied. We're tied. And that was, this was the concert I saw in 1972. Okay. Exile on Main Street. It's got the 12 postcards right here. And they've never been, there's 6 of them with the perforation, and you separate them on the perforation for a total. I can feel the perforation here for a 12, a total of 12. This says right here, 1972 first pressing, super clean with postcards. And it is. It's like a brand new album. I waited a long time to find a good used copy of this. When I found this, I couldn't believe it, but I also couldn't believe how much they were asking for it. This album right here, Exile on Main Street, costs more than any other album I own. And the only reason I was willing to pay that much money for it was because I saw the concert and I've been searching for this. Okay. So having seen the concert and everything I found with beat up covers on it, you know, well, I mean, it's 1972, you know, 1972. It's a long time ago, but this is also a wonderful album. There's great songs on it. It's actually a, I'm going to pull it out, I guess. Let's see. What's it got written here on it? Something. Okay. All right. It's got one of those sticky flaps, usually used once and tossed. So let's look at these postcards I was bragging about, okay? We've got postcards here, and you have a perforation running right across here. And it comes with 12 postcards that have never been pulled apart at the perforations. So that's one thing, you know. I mean, if this.
Hey, Royce, can you put a stamp on one of those and mail it to me?
Absolutely. And so anyway, you got the nice gatefold once again. Always love the gatefolds. They give you that little bit extra, right? I mean, and then it starts. Yeah. Let me see. Let me take at least one of the albums out. Okay, it's the gatefold that opens up, and then the albums come out at the center. Okay. All right. So let's look at one of these beauties. Nice cut, nice sleeves. All right, here we go. Here we go. We got the same label we had on the last one, Exile on Main Street. You know what? I think I'll just put my glasses on. Sure going to make it a whole lot easier here. We have Sweet Virginia, Torn and Frayed, Small Black Angel, Loving Cup. Okay. Over here we have Rocks Off. Oh, that's a novel idea. Rip This Joint, Shake Your Hips, Casino Boogie, and Tumbling Dice. Who could forget? Good. Yeah, who could forget Tumbling Dice or Sweet Virginia, right? All right. Well, we opened one. Let's open the other one. What else? What else do we have to do, right?
Yes.
Okay. Let's see. Some kind of a comment up there. Okay. Knucklehead Rock, Stormcrow. Okay. All right. Let's put these back on. Okay. Now we have All Down the Line, Stop Breaking Down, Shine, Soul Survivor. This side we have Happy, Turd on the Run, Ventilator Blues, I just want to see his face. I just want to see his face and let it loose. Okay. This was kind of a pivotal album here, you know, a little bit different, but excellent. So anyway, that was tied for third place on the poll. Sticky Fingers, Let It Bleed, and then we had a tie between Exile on Main Street and Beggar's Banquet. Okay, another great album. The white cover kind of reminds me of the white that the Beatles' White Album was on, where it starts yellowing around the edges, and you might have a yellow ring where the album sits and things like that. So Beggar's Banquet is another iconic album, and we'll take a quick look. Of course, we have another gatefold. Let me get this old sleeve out of the way. Another gatefold.
Cool.
Yeah. And we've got great songs on here, you know, like Sympathy for the Devil. Sympathy for the Devil. I mean, that is a huge song, Sympathy for the Devil. Please allow me to introduce myself. No Expectations, Dear Doctor. Okay, I don't need to be big to read. Okay. Dear Doctor, Parachute Woman, Jigsaw Puzzle, Street Fighting Man, Prodigal Son, Stray Cat Blues, Factory Girl, and Salt of the Earth. Okay. This is London Stereo. All right. Okay, so there's the back. So, okay, the only other thing I'm going to show now is something that has nothing to do with the poll. I'll just call them fan favorites or my favorites. I absolutely love this album here, this live album, Get Your Ya-Ya's Out. I remember at one time that was my, you know, as a teenager, that was my favorite Stones album for a while. Oh man, look at the playlist. I mean, it's a live album, so you're gonna have a mix of all the good stuff. Jumpin' Jack Flash, Carol, Stray Cat Blues, Love in Vain, Midnight Rambler, Sympathy for the Devil, Little Queenie, Live With Me, Honky Tonk Woman, and Street Fighting Man. Man, you got Street Fighting Man and Jumping Jack Flash right there together. But I mean, I absolutely love this live album, Get Your Ya-Ya's Out. Okay. Then, this is another album I like so many songs on. I just thought I would bring it. And that's Some Girls, okay? And I think this is a great album. I love the songs on it. You know, Miss You, na 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 na, and Miss You, Some Girls, Before They Make Me Run, Lies, When the Whip Comes Down, Beast of Burden, Imagination, The Girl with the Faraway Eyes, Respectable, and Shattered. The songs are all listed here among women wearing bras. And also, when you start having the yellow, I have two copies of this. One is an original and one is not an original pressing. In the original pressing, you wind up having some yellow hair, not solid yellow hair. But some of these, as you slide this in and out, it's yellow hair, and the yellow hair is the original pressing. When I found that out, as soon as I found one, I bought it. You know, it's funny because most of this used stuff, you don't really spend a lot of money for it, you know. I mean, not necessarily cheap, but I don't know how many things I've bought for 14, 18, 20 bucks that would be a lot more than that. So here I have, okay, I showed this once before. This is the last one I'm going to show, okay? I will make myself slightly bigger. This is a compilation, one of the best compilations, and it's Rolling Stones Hot Rocks from 1964 to 1961. And if you don't think the Rolling Stones had masterpieces back then, and you will once I read the set list, because first of all, one of the things I love about this is this gold marbled vinyl.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. No, it's actually the camera is not doing it justice. It's really pretty. Okay, and so it's a double album set. As soon as I put this in here, let's see, I'll go ahead and start. There's the hype sticker on the shrink wrap, of course, and the old sleeves that came with it, which actually look quality. They're lined with plastic. Okay, look at that gatefold, baby. All right, let me put this away real quick, and I just want to read this. I just want to read the playlist off of this one, and I don't need to be big for that. Okay, so we have the Rolling Stones Hot Rock, 64 through 71. And I'll tell you what, I'm telling you, that's like the golden era here for the Rolling Stones, because you've got Brown Sugar, Wild Horses, Gimme Shelter, Honky Tonk Woman, Satisfaction, Paint It Black, Jumpin' Jack Flash, Street Fightin' Man, Midnight Rambler, great song. You Can't Always Get What You Want, so iconic. Let's Spend the Night Together, fun song. Mother's Little Helper, 19th Nervous Breakdown, Ruby Tuesday, Get Off of My Cloud, Play with Fire, Time is on My Side. Okay, Heart of Stone, Under My Thumb, Sympathy for the Devil, and As Tears Go By. I mean, if that's not a great playlist, oh my God. I mean, does it get any better than that? I mean, I don't think it does.
What's the name of the album again?
It's called Hot Rocks.
Hot Rocks. Okay,
Hot Rocks, 64 to 71.
that's a
And
definitely good.
there's another one called More Hot Rocks out there too. But yeah, so, and Get Your Yayas Out is a great live. And of course, Hackney Diamonds, the one that we just had, the last album. So anyway, guys, let's talk about the Rolling Stones and what they've meant to us. I first heard the Rolling Stones, the British Invasion. That was 1964, late 1964, and they were the two. I mean, there was a lot of good bands on the British Invasion. In fact, I want to do a show on the British Invasion bands. I didn't quite have everything I wanted for the top ones, but I mean, I have, of course, Beatles. I have Stones. I have no Kinks. They were really prominent in the British Invasion. And, I have one I have one Dave Clark 5, who at the time had the largest fan club of any of the bands, the Dave Clark 5. And there's a bunch of others, I mean, you've got Herman's Hermits, Henry VIII, I am. And what a flood. Jerry and the Pacemakers singing Ferry Across the Mersey. Of course, the Beatles were kind of dominating, but the Rolling Stones had a really big following too, and it got to the point where they were a little edgier, and maybe a little edgier people that like something a little harder were tending to maybe drift away from the Beatles and go more with the Stones. A lot of people, even my wife, say, I've listened to some Beatles since you've got them, but I've never really listened or cared about them. I always like the Rolling Stones. That's my wife says that. And I run into a lot of people that say that. Now, I like both, and I've been listening to Beatles this week. I started with their very first album, and of course, it was the American versions, not the UK versions. So it's a different playlist. But I started listening from the very beginning. I'm working my way through each and every Beatles album one more time. I think as time goes on, I appreciate the Beatles more and more. So it's kind of a good feeling to go through and re-listen to these older albums, and it's just amazing how when they start, you feel like you know all the lyrics to every song. I mean, that's how ingrained they were in your head. And back when you were like, well, I think the British Invasion hit when I was in elementary school, a 6th grader, and of course 2 years in junior high, it was huge. And by the time I got to high school, it was kind of a mixed bag. There was so much new and good stuff out there, At the vinyl Dreamscape here, 45 RPM. Our buddy Brian Bingham is here. Angela, great to see you. Okay, go ahead, Dan.
When I was growing up, I was aware of the Rolling Stones.
Yeah.
But I didn't really listen to them because to me the Beatles were like the number one band back when I was that age. So I always listened to the Beatles, and the Rolling Stones were like second place to me. It wasn't until I think 1971 when they released Brown Sugar. That changed. Suddenly, I love Brown Sugar. You know, I love
I
that
know.
song.
Right.
But
Right.
suddenly, I was paying more attention to the Stones from 71 on. You know, but before that, I knew they existed, but I really wasn't a fan. More of a Beatles fan.
Yeah.
But, you know, but that's kind of the way it was back in those days too. The bands were almost in competition with each other as far as the public concerned. I remember they used to have contests on the radio station back in the '60s. You know, who's your favorite band, the Monkees or the Beatles? And you'd call in. You know,
Right. Right.
Yeah.
that's how we did our
Yeah.
polls back in the day. You know,
Right.
called the
Right.
radio station.
Angela, thanks for bringing that up. Everybody, please hit that thumbs up button. It's on your screen, just below the picture. You hit that, the algorithm, puts the show in front of more people. 50's your first milestone. I have no idea where I'm at on that. Probably nowhere near it. But everybody, please hit that thumbs up button. Gives me an opportunity to have the show shown and played by more people, and that just helps growth. We're all trying to grow. We put a lot of time in on these channels. We'd like to build them up, like to grow them, like to get more subscribers, more views when we do a show. So we appreciate all of you. We appreciate people that come into the chat. Appreciate the people that give up their time to be on the panel. It's not easy. I don't think I've been on anybody's panel myself at least over a year.
Michael Nolan just pointed out to me that, of course, the Beatles weren't around from 71 on after that. So maybe that's why I was more of a Rolling Stones fan. But actually, during that time frame, that's when I started becoming more of a McCartney fan.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Because then, Lennon had some stuff out, McCartney had, and I chose McCartney more so than Lennon. I always had, who's first place, who's second, who do I like second, who I like best, so.
Right. Oh no, it was never easy. Like I said, the big thing for me, we take a trip. Lived in Southern Nevada, Henderson, just outside of Vegas. We take a trip every year to California because that's where my dad's family settled when they sold their farm in Texas, and really they settled in the ag areas, like Bakersfield, surrounding smaller farming type towns like Delano. My grandparents moved from Texas to California, bought a home in Delano next to Bakersfield. And it was a huge produce. I mean, my dad and his brothers and sisters went out and picked oranges and apples and stuff to help the family out, before they were, when they were young. Yeah. I remember a story, my older brother and my dad talking about, they had a little 40-acre farm in Texas. When it rained, they had money, and it didn't rain. They were all working in everybody's fields after work. All the 11 kids were. But those were harsh times, These stories you hear about, your dad tells you walk 10 miles in the snow to get to school. What are you complaining about? Well, it's kind of like they really did. He said they'd get a couple of shirts, one pair of jeans, all sewed by mom for 11 kids. And when the shoes finally worn out, before school was out, you were barefoot at school.
Hey, Michael Nolan just sent you a super chat, and he's says something on there that I noticed too. Take a look at that.
Okay.
That, nobody can see how many thumbs up you've got.
Oh, I think I know why. I think I accidentally, but man, I am so far behind in the chat. Just impossible. Okay, I'm getting there. I just know that I'm getting there. Okay, Michael Nolan, my brother. Thank you, Michael. I really appreciate that. You have no idea. And you've also just reminded me that I have some people that I want to mention that did something similar last week. Get my albums out of the way. They're sitting on top of my notebooks over here and stuff. Okay, here we go. Sorry about this. Let me just do this right now. The Four Horsemen shout outs. We have Ben Scheidegger gave us a super chat of $5. Erga Splitten Loudenboomer gave us one of $2. Oberheim, my good buddy Brandon from Down Under, gave us $2.99. And Michael Nolan gave us a $20 super chat last week. Thank you so much, Michael. We really appreciate it, man. So I really appreciate this too. You've come in. You're the first person to come in, and it's good. We don't always have people that do this. So anyway, so that's how that all works. So thanks, Michael. Thank you so much, and you will also get a shout out on next week's show. Okay. Well, we're working it. $4.99.
You know, one of the things I really remember about the first Stones concert I ever saw was it was on Halloween, 1981, and we had the Fabulous Thunderbirds open up, and then ZZ Top came on after that, and of course we're in the Cotton Bowl. It's all open to nature.
Okay.
And storm clouds were building all day. And the moment the Stones took the stage, the sky just let loose. It just poured on us. And of course, this is Halloween, so it's pretty chilly out too. So we're freezing out in the stands, trying to keep dry, but it was impossible.
Right.
And, of course, the Stones were covered on their stage, but Mick noticed that we were all getting wet. So what he did, there was a ramp that went up to the main stage. He was just rolling on his, tumbling down the stage. He started performing out in the rain. I was surprised he didn't get electrocuted with the microphone, but I guess maybe in a wireless. But yeah, he just performed out in the rain while we were getting wet too. So then
that could be dangerous.
Well, Keith stayed up in where it was dry, of course.
Right.
But the second time I saw him, I was really lucky. I got front row seats on that one. There was such a demand for this concert that I think it was like 2 weeks before they even sold tickets. We had to go down and get these wristbands put on. And it was a lottery system as far as who's going to be first in line. And they wanted an orderly system to, because there was no internet back in those days. So you actually had to go down to the ticket agency to buy the tickets. So 2 weeks later, we all had to gather at the ticket agency to find out what number was on our wristband and where we were in line. Well, I get there about an hour late. And by the time I got there were already cars parked on. There's probably 10,000 people there. I swear, just people parked on the side of the highways. It was a mess. So I go up there, and
that's crazy.
And the line is already formed. I'm thinking, well, where do I fit in? So I went to a Dallas cop and said, hey, where does my number go?
Right.
He said, I think you're up front somewhere. So we walk up towards the front, verified with people. I was number one in line.
Bonus.
Out of all those people, I was first in line. Of course, when tickets didn't go on sale till 10 o'clock in the morning, and the ticket agency I was at was the main hub for the ticket sales. We had outlets in San Antonio and Houston and places like that, but Dallas was the main hub. So they had a countdown, and the girl had her hands on the keyboard. She was ready. As soon as it hit 10 o'clock, she started entering the information. Out came 6 front row center. I couldn't believe it. And at the time, I only paid like $54 a ticket. And but I was already having offers of $500 a ticket before I even walked out of the ticket office.
Oh man!
What I ended up I promised a buddy of mine 2 of the tickets face value. Of course, I was going to use 2 tickets, so that's 4 that's taken care of. So I had 2 extra, and I put that in a football pot for the Dallas Cowboys and the Redskins.
Yeah. And how'd you do there?
I made $2,000, and the guy that won the tickets only bought 1 square, which was $20. So he got 2 front row center for $20.
Oh wow!
And I ended up with the $2,000. I bought a refrigerator and a limo for the concert. So all 6 of us went in the limo to the concert.
Right.
And that's when Living Color opened up for him that year. That was the Steel Wheels tour.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that's totally cool. Let me see. Which tour was the last one during COVID that I had tickets for? I'm trying to remember.
Well, I saw him in 2022.
Okay.
And I'm not sure if there was an album now at that point.
No, I don't think there would have been. Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Since between Hackney Diamonds and the one before, like 18 years. So yeah, no, there wouldn't have been. Okay. Anyway, I want to thank my friend Jersey Devil. He gave us a $2 super chat. Thanks so much, brother.
Hey, Angela knows what I'm talking about. Angela says, back then when tickets went on sale, it was only at the main Ticketmaster Central Expressway. That's exactly where I went.
Okay.
And about a week later, you could buy at the outlets. Yeah, that's.
Okay.
Rainbow Ticketmaster.
Right. Okay. Back then, tickets went on sale. Yep, that's Angela's comment. Hey, Joseph Blues here. How you doing, brother?
Yeah.
I think I have all their studio albums, none on vinyl, all on CD. Glorious CD. Nothing wrong with CDs, man. I bought a Rolling Stones Greatest Hits CD today. So I had some Stones in my wife's car when I got it. Yeah, it was $9, with all these great hits on it.
Well, I was just listening to Sticky Fingers before you came on.
Oh, were you?
Yeah.
What a great album that is.
Yeah.
Really hard to beat.
Just looking through what I got here, you pretty much showed what I got. I got Her Majesty's Satanic Request.
Oh, yeah. I have that on CD.
Yeah. And Tattoo You.
Yeah.
An expanded version with a second disc that has or demos and rarities and such. And then my favorite compilation is the one you showed, the Hot Rocks. But that's for the good old stuff. I find this one, if you're kind of touch and go on some of their, 80s and 90s albums, this is a good disc to get because it gives you most of their popular
40
songs.
licks. Yeah, that's right.
So you could get some of the older stuff that you would on that other one, but you get like all the stuff through the 80s, like Love Is Strong, Anybody Seen My Baby, Tumbling Dice, all that stuff, eh?
Okay, cool. Yeah, no, I've seen that before. I think you even showed it before.
I think I have actually. Now that you mentioned
I think you have too. Caitlin, love that album. Oberheim, hiya, Caitlin. Hope you're doing goody. Caitlin's always doing goody. She's just good people. In fact, I just want to give Caitlin a shout out right now. Caitlin has a live podcast and she streams twice a week with a live chat. And it's called Caitlin's Magical Corner. And she does a good job on the show. She's usually got 2 or 3, sometimes 1, but anywhere from 1 to 3 to 4 guests, counting herself. And she covers a lot of, I mean, she's like a journalist. She gets hired by people to go review concerts and then report on them, write an article on them for that person's, magazine, whatever it is, newspaper, magazine. And so she does that. So she's really articulate. And I've read a number of the reviews she's written, and they're really good. So that just gives you an idea. When she puts her shows on, they are good. So I just recommend everybody go to Kate's Magical Corner and give her a listen. Give her a subscribe to her channel if you want to. And I would recommend it. I'm a subscriber. I'm there as often as I can. Her shows usually run during my work time, but I've watched them during lunch. I've let the phone play them while I was working if it's not too noisy. And I'll tell you, whenever I go there, Michael Nolan's always there. He's a big fan too. So take it from us. You'll enjoy it. Go check her out. So, okay, Jersey Devil. I had a friend who won Stones tickets and other shows from a radio station. He would go to a spot with several payphones and call like crazy to be the winning caller. That's great.
I used to do that too. I was a ticket winner all the time on a radio station.
Were you really?
Oh, I did. In fact, I think the first time I won tickets was in 1973, and it was to a Canned Heat concert.
Oh, Canned Heat, yeah.
That was my very first concert.
That's a great band, Canned Heat.
And Quicksilver Messenger too was there.
Oh yeah, I keep eyeballing all their used albums out there, Quicksilver, and I haven't bought any yet, but at some point I'll commit and get some before they're all gone. I remember being a fan. Haven't heard any of their music in a while. So Kate's doing good. Why, thank you, Chris. It was a long 7-hour drive. Where did Caitlin go?
I'm not sure. A concert, I think, but I don't remember who.
Yeah, I saw she had a picture of looked like an SUV on her Facebook page. So I guess that was her transportation.
Yeah, you're talking about winning things from the radio stations. I've won a ton of things myself. I actually won probably one of the more expensive things I got from the radio station is You guys know the Trailer Park Boys
Yeah,
series?
yeah,
Have you
yeah,
heard of
yeah.
it?
Yeah, I love
Well, I
it.
got the cheeseburger locker. I was looking at on eBay the other day. It's worth $450 on eBay right now. I won it straight from the radio station.
Yeah.
Wow.
You know the Metallica set live shit binge and purge. I have that with the original
Okay.
VHS tapes and everything in it. And that I won a couple of like 3 or 4 CDs. I won tickets to see Theory of a Dead Man, Jackal, uh, Jeff Martin from the Tea Party. He's a local band here in Windsor. Yeah. Actually, I got to the point where they said you can't call back and win anything for another 20 days.
Yeah,
Okay.
you know, I was about to say something about that because here locally, back in the 80s, they started a new AM radio station. And at the time, they didn't have very many listeners, but they were always having contests. So they were having a contest for the first 3 callers. You know, I forgot it was a couple of tickets to a club or something. So I call up and I win. I went, oh, thank you. You know, I hang up, I call again. I won again.
Oh man, I'm trying to remember what I've ever won. This is kind of escaping me right now. I am one of us is here. Thank you for showing up. Always appreciate seeing you with us. Dwayne Wolotica, my buddy's here. Brandon Oberheim is here. Caitlin's all over Brian Bingham's here. Caitlin's all over the chat. And so great to see all of you. I'm way caught up on the chat now. People get skipped when you do that, but I get really far behind.
Yeah. Probably the best CD I won from the radio station is this one here. It's Slash
Oh,
Live and
Slash.
Scope with
Okay.
Miles Kennedy.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I have
Double-
one Slash Miles
double CD.
Kennedy.
So I won that, and that was probably the best of the CDs that I won. I mean, that
Have you-
Metallica one, it's a 3 CD live in Mexico, a full concert.
Oh
And then a
wow.
couple a full concert from Seattle on the VHS. And
Right,
the other one
right.
was the Mexico City concert on VHS.
Nice.
And what's the name of their the logo? I forget, but I could spray paint it like it was almost like a detail of it.
Yeah.
Hmm.
You know, something
Not-
I've wondered
not
about, something I've always wondered about these aging rock stars. You know, because a lot of them, when they were younger, you know, they kind of abused their bodies with alcohol and other things. You know, but
Yes.
as they got older, the ones that got smart changed the way they lived. And I know Ringo Starr only eats natural foods, and he's like
Okay.
what, 83 now, 84.
Right. Doing
he's doing
very
good.
well too.
You know, and I kind of wonder,
Yeah.
like, we all know Keith Richards abused his body quite a bit, so I'm not sure
Yeah.
what his secret is of longevity.
Yeah. I don't either.
You know, I don't really want to follow his advice, but you know, it worked for him.
Right. Yeah. Him or Willie Nelson, right?
Oh yeah, Willie's now selling some type of a THC drink now.
Oh, is he really?
Yeah.
Willie's Willie.
Well, that doesn't surprise me.
Oh, it's called Weed. As a matter of fact, the name of the drink is called Weed.
Oh,
It looks kind of like a champagne bottle.
is that right?
And like you said, drink weed every day.
Right. Every day. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I tell you, the dispensaries are rampant now. President, Trump says he's going to declassify it down from, it's up there with heroin as far as its classification, because
Oh yeah.
that was from the whole Summer of Love when Nixon thought, well, all of these counterculture leaders, they all smoke their marijuana. So all we have to do is classify it with heroin and we can bust them all and put them in jail. And that's
Yeah.
the only reason it was classified that way.
And that happened like what, back in the 30s or something? It was a long time ago when they did that.
No, during Richard Nixon's administration.
Was that okay? Okay.
Yeah. Another thing to not like Nixon about, right?
Yeah, well, Texas is still pretty strict about it, you know.
No, Texas is very strict. I mean,
Yeah.
you don't have there's no dispensaries or anything like that there, is there?
No. I'm surprised that you can still buy those THC drinks around here, but
No,
if
okay.
if they got this bill that they try to pass through, which will make that illegal too.
Oh, is that right? Well, I
But
don't know.
I know a few people here in Texas that take trips to Colorado quite often.
Oh, okay, yeah. Well,
Well,
I went through my period of, you know, abuse and excess, mostly as a medium to later teenager. But I honestly thought that things like weed being legal would have happened, 35 years ago. As
Well,
soon as the people that went through that, which was everybody at that age, got to be in positions of power in companies and politics and stuff, that they would be like, hey, what's up with this?
yeah. Well, being here in Windsor, everybody, for the most part, all the major concerts are in Detroit. So
Okay.
when everybody smokes pot and whatever. So, but a buddy of mine, I mean, this was obviously years back, but he went across and he checked his car, make sure he didn't have anything, but he had a roach under his the passenger side floor mat. Well, they put him in the secondary. They checked his car, and they almost gave him 5 years just for having a roach that he forgot was under his floor mat.
Oh,
wow.
Almost 5 years, but that was back in like the late '80s, early '90s. It was
right.
crazy.
I'm telling you, it was
just a little right underneath it. Yeah.
even crazier in the late 60s. They'd be in there in your car looking for a seed on the ground.
Yeah.
But what I thought was unusual too, even during that time frame, I would go to concerts, all during the 70s. And when the lights went out, everybody lit up. I mean, the whole place would just be smoking. And there was no enforcement back in those days. And it was pretty really illegal back in those days, but there was no enforcement. Yeah. Nowadays, you go to a concert, you can't even light a cigarette within 50 feet of the front door. I mean, they're very strict. And also I remember too, when bands would, you're waiting for the band to come out for an encore, people would get their Bic lighters, and sit their Bic lighters. Or sometimes some concerts, actually, I saw people lighting paper cups, and on fire. Now everybody's got cell phones. Everybody got the cell phone.
Everybody's got a cell phone. Yeah. Yeah. 9/11 changed that, Dwayne. Let's see. What did Dwayne say? Oh, okay. Yeah, 9/11 changed a lot of things, and that was just very recently too, the anniversary of it. But there was a lot going on. Other things were going on at the same time, so some things are being overshadowed and stuff. Usually 9/11 winds up being huge, as far as like what's being reported and things like that, because it was huge. That's the first time anything like that that's ever happened to America. Man, they're lucky we didn't incinerate the entire Middle East. Nixon administration were responsible for the studies at the University of Mississippi that showed cannabis cured cancer. Some labs were shut down shortly after. Oh, I hadn't heard that before. Thanks, Chris. That's good information. Yeah.
I'm not real sure if that really cures cancer, but it does.
I'm not either, but
it does help with the effects of the chemotherapy. I know that.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It helps ease the pain. Depending on how it reacts to your body, it helps ease the pain. It helps with insomnia
and nausea.
Yeah. And it also gives you an appetite too.
That's true. Yeah.
Right.
I mean, I wouldn't know, personally.
That's what I've heard too, So.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. I heard that rumor.
Yeah. Wasn't there some old movie about it back in the day?
Oh, Reefer Madness? Is that what?
Reefer Madness, yeah. Was that
one? Oh, yeah.
That's actually
from 1937 or something.
I've got that on DVD and I watch it. I've watched it a couple of times, and to me, it's a comedy.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, what's funny is they used to show all those to us in health class, like 9th grade and stuff. Preparing us. And somebody would be on a reel that they're playing. Showing you a little movie on drugs and stuff, and somebody would take a hit off a joint, look in the mirror, and you see a gorilla's face. Yeah. You could tell the people that hadn't from the people that hadn't. The people that hadn't done that, they're like looking at it like, oh wow, is that what happens? And the other people looking around laughing.
Well, when pop became popular in the late 60s, I was like in elementary school at the time. And I didn't know what any of that was. I had no clue what drugs were, they could be abused. I knew nothing about it until one day the police department decided to come to our school and shows this display. And
Oh,
he's got opens his display, and they got joints in there, and they got different pills.
right,
And he's
right,
talking about marijuana. He goes, "This is marijuana." He said, "This is a joint." He goes, "When you smoke it, you feel good, you feel high, but don't smoke it." I'm going, "What?"
Yeah.
Got my curiosity up. I go, "Well,
right, right.
they didn't know." They thought, I guess they exposed us to it, we'd be aware of it, but actually, I think it made a lot of us my age curious.
Right.
You know,
Oh yeah, no, and that's what happens. Look at Chris Barlow here. Says the combination of THC and CBD destroys cancer cells. True. That's interesting. I have to look into that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's my wife was going to send me a super chat. In fact, she told me she did, but I guess it didn't go through.
Maybe she's low on funds.
Yeah, well, it all comes from the same account. If she's low, I'm low.
I don't know. Depends on
No,
what account, I guess, right?
yeah, I think things are going
Does she
okay
have?
right now.
Anyway,
I've
yeah,
got
talking about that, when I was at the SARS Fest in Toronto, there was one guy. He couldn't find where he was sitting, and all his friends were, and he was smoking a joint, walking around, and there was a police officer. He goes, "Sir, can you please help me find my friends?" And all the cop told him was, "Can you just stand downwind of me and then ask me your question again?" He didn't tell him. I mean, with 500,000 people, he wasn't going to tell him to put it out because it wasn't. It
right.
was on the way to being legal in Canada at the time, but not quite.
Oh,
They didn't
okay.
care. I mean, just
So you
downwind
guys
of me and
are,
I'll talk to you.
yeah, you guys are like just 100% legal everywhere in Canada.
Yeah, but you can't bring it across any borders or anything like it.
Oh yeah. Well, then you're breaking the other country's laws. Yeah.
Because I mean, in Michigan, it's legal, but you cannot bring anything between Ontario and Michigan. I mean, that's a federal offense.
Look at Michael Nolan. I've got a medical prescription. Just ask Dr. Insomnia or Dr. Rick. Yeah, let's ask
There you
them.
go. That's right.
Right?
Like I was saying earlier, in the 70s, it was really open at concerts and everything. And you kind of got used to it. You just got used to going to a concert and you smelled the smoke. Well, we ended up going to Memphis one time and saw a Billy Joel concert.
Right.
And we were fairly close to the stage. And the concert hadn't started yet. The lights were still on. And there's a guy sitting across the aisle from me. He had a baggie in his lap. And he's sitting there rolling a joint. This cop walks up and just grabs his entire bag and just keeps on walking. I went, whoa. I'd never seen it confiscated before. Then I started thinking, what'd that cop do with it? He just took it and walked off.
Well, I'll tell you, I had a ex San Francisco cop living next door to me, got me into surfing and everything. And we sailed his 37-foot sailboat out to the Channel Islands surfing. And he'd actually sail that sailboat twice to Hawaii and several times down to Cabo San Lucas and stuff. Anyway, boy, I tell you what, you go to Mexico with him surfing, and the first thing he did was the first thing he'd be doing is looking for somebody to buy some weed from.
Really?
Oh yeah. I guess he said all the cops and firemen up there, they all smoked.
Yeah.
But yeah, bunch of characters, man. I mean, Pete was a real character. Yeah, you talk about a cat with 9 lives, One day he was sitting around with a couple of his buddies counting up all the people that they knew that had died hang gliding. They got to 72.
Wow.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's one of the reasons why I went skydiving. I skydived twice. And I said, I survived both times. I'm done.
That's right.
I experienced it. I'm done.
Right.
Didn't want to push my luck.
Well, I got a pilot's license in '92, and I flew all over the damn place. Even had my own little 4-seat airplane, and that was fun. I flew across the ocean to Catalina Island with my wife and kids.
Yeah.
But you know what? Every plane has a glide ratio. How far you can glide at a certain altitude when you trim it up to maintain a certain speed. Like let's say my plane, you trim it up to 70 miles an hour. That's going to give you the furthest glide. And so I figured, how could I always get to land? Okay, I mean, when I get halfway, can I make it either to the island or back?
Yeah.
Or am I going to be short? One way. But I overfigured everything. Of course, got my kids on the plane and everything. And when we got there, I was so high, I had to spiral down to land, which took almost as long as it did to cross the water. I was going to make sure I could glide one way or the other, you know. Anyway, Michael Nolan, dimmed straight. Yeah, I think you mean damn straight. Not that I'm putting words in your mouth. Let's see. What did James say? We got a couple of Jameses here. James Watson. We better be legal in Canada. I have a container of weed cookies in the freezer. Yeah. Now I know what Michael was responding to.
Hey, if you want, Royce, I can read a passage out of the.
Okay, I think when you're done, we'll probably close the show for tonight.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll just if you want just a little bit about the very beginnings of them. They're starting.
Oh yeah, do that. Yeah.
All right. Just skip ahead here. Okay. It was Brian Jones was playing with the local band, the Ramrods, but finally despaired of it. He wasn't doing any good, so he joined with Alexis Corner and on a blues gig, and then he joined. That only fizzled out for him. And it says he joined pianist Ian Stewart, singer Randy Wren, and guitarist Jeff Bradford. And then, meanwhile, still the only thing of minority appeal, British R&B was ascending a pivotal venue, exciting new club, Ealing Blues Club. So now Jones had formed a partnership with singer Paul Jones, later of Manfred Mann, and then working under the name P.P. Bond. Jones too often used ethnic pseudonyms, yeah. Elmo Lewis, that was Jones's name for that. The Blue Boys went along to listen, and a few weeks later, Jagger and Richard had summoned the sufficient nerve to jam on stage with at the Ealing Club, accompanied by harpist Cyril Davies and Alexis Corner's drummer Charlie Watts. And then already semblance of a new outfit was beginning to take shape. Jagger started rehearsing with Brian Jones, Jeff Bradford, and Ian Stewart, and soon Richard and Dick Taylor were dropping by too. Of this aggregation, Bradford, a fine guitarist but too much of the blues purist, was first to go after falling out with Richards and Jones. Meanwhile, Jagger made further appearances with Blues Inc., and by early 1962 was a permanent member and lead singer for the Blues Inc., which had graduated from the Ealing Club to the Marquee Club in London. And he wasn't working with Corner, he worked out with Jones, Richard, and company. And Jones, Richard, and Jagger were so close, in fact, that they shared the same squalid bedsit apartment in London. So all three of them were in one tiny little shithole apartment. And then they even got as far as cutting a demo, which brought them their first rejection from EMI. They were lean times. Ian Stewart was the only one working, and he worked for chemical company ICI. And it was usually his money which kept the band in food. Dick Taylor was the next to leave. He went to Royal College of Art and later resurfaced with the Pretty Things. And then in June 1962 came their first break when Blues Incorporated were booked for a radio broadcast, but as budget only allowed for 6 players, singer Mick Jagger was left out. You imagine going and they left your singer out? Instead, he took advantage of Corner's absence from the Marquee Club to give Embryonic Stones their London debut, first billed as Brian Jones and Mick Jagger and the Rolling Stones. They began to attract their own audience. And then, but before they can progress any further, certain personnel changes needed to take place. Drummer Tony Chapman was deemed unacceptable, and the Stones worked for several months to try to persuade Charlie Watts to leave Alexis Corner and join the group.
Oh, that's an interesting story right there.
What was Charlie Watts' band's name?
He was in Alexis Corner blues
Alexis
band.
Corner. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Corner.
Well, there was a lot of different musicians. It was sort of, so you could say almost like a John Mayall kind of a band, sort of. You know, with
Gotcha.
different members coming and going that usually went
Right.
on to be superstars.
Right. Right.
So, yeah, they took him all that time to get Charlie.
Wow.
Watts had been then, yeah. All right, Watts had then thrown his gig with the Blues. Oh, he went to Blues Incorporated due to the pressure of drumming evenings and working by the day as an advertisement agency designer. I didn't know Charlie Watts was an advertising agency designer
No.
during the day when he was still
No.
drumming with Blues Inc.
Never heard that before.
All right. So, and instead joined the group Blues by Six, which had less demand on his times. Watts, a cautious man, wanted time to think about before he joined the Stones. And there's more, but if we get it, like, there's 3 pages worth, so I just got to stop somewhere. So, I mean,
Nice. Thank you.
there's a good picture of Keith. I think that's
Yeah.
circa 1970, or no, 1970, they said it.
Nice.
And then
Thank
the
you.
cover of one of the cover from the sessions for the Black and Blue album. Oh, let me get it in there. Can I get it? No, there we go.
Yeah.
So, but different things. Like I said, it goes on for a while, so I just wanted to read a little passage from the early parts that
Oh yeah.
I
Right
hadn't
on.
heard a lot of that stuff before. So,
Right. Everybody familiar with the movie Point Break?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I love that movie too. I've seen it several times. Surfing Bank Robbers. That was a great movie.
the original one though, the
The,
remake
the
sucks.
surfing, the flying. Wait. The remake is out.
The remake sucks. It's not even worth
Oh
your
yeah,
time. to
no,
talk about it.
I'd have a hard time watching that. The original was so good, with such good acting in it. Wrist to code up. Okay. All right, guys. Well, I want to thank everybody. This actually, I thought the show was actually going to be even shorter yet tonight. It was kind of a quick little topic. But anyway, I want to appreciate everybody that's come here tonight. I want you to know that I appreciate you. I understand you can't see how many thumbs up, but I'm sure you have a thumbs up button you could at least hit. So please do me a proper and hit that like button. And I think I changed the setting. It's a long explanation why, and it's now not showing how many thumbs up I have. So I'm gonna have to go back and change that setting. Anyway, it's a long story. You go through these videos that tell you how to set your channel up, what to put on, what to turn off, what to leave off, what to leave on, and how it's really going to make your show just do all these things, but it doesn't really work. But I think one of the settings I changed was showing the thumbs up. But anyway, hit them now if you can. If you're not a subscriber, please hit that subscribe button. We've got several hundred videos out there, tons of classic rock, some metal, hard rock, back to the beginning kind of rock, from the early days. And we every once in a while we do a show on some of the current rockers. There's actually some good people out there right now. So anyway, thank you guys all so much for joining us, and we're going to be signing off now. Really appreciate y'all being here, and that's what's happening in Royce's world today. Thank you all so much. Good night, everybody. Thanks, Dan. Thanks, Chris.
You're welcome, Chris.